Most mysterious archaeological finds. Hey everyone, it's Alexa and welcome back to another video. You'd think with how rapidly our technology is advancing that by now we would have been able to figure out what some of these mysterious archaeological finds were intended for, what function they served, who used them, and why. However, those answers remain up in the air, so if you can shed some light on the following, we welcome your input in the comments below. But before we get into today's video, make sure that you're subscribed and ring the bell so that you never miss any of our upcoming videos. 21. Roman dodecahedrons, Europe. These unusual-looking contraptions are from the 2nd and 3rd century and measure 3 centimeters by 10 centimeters. They're shaped like a dodecahedron, with each face the shape of a pentagon and have holes and knobs at the points. There are several guesses, including a measuring device or religious artifact. Some believe it was used in a game played by children. They were very popular objects, as hundreds of them have been found throughout Europe. 20. Stone spheres in Costa Rica. The Daiquez Delta of southern Costa Rica is home to giant stone spheres that date back as far as 600 AD. The stones were made by a pre-Columbian civilization, and the spheres are carved perfectly into gabbro, rocks that form from molten magma. It's believed they used other small stones to carve the new spherical-shaped ones, but the question remains, why? Some theorized they were used for astronomical purposes, but when the Spanish invaded Central America, they destroyed the Chibchan people, and that answer was lost for eternity. 19. The Copper Scroll, QUMRAN. This intriguing find was part of the Dead Sea Scrolls discovered in 1952, but unlike the other scrolls written on parchment, this one is written on copper. After the scroll was translated, it was discovered that it was a treasure map. Many have tried to find the Copper Scroll treasure, but nobody has had success. One theory suggests that the treasure hunt was done with the intent of confusing whoever found it, and there's really no treasure at all. 18. The ANTIKYTHERA mechanism. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to this find that was retrieved off the waters of the coast of the Greek island Antikythera in 1901. Archaeologist Valerio Stace found it among the wreck of a 2,000-year-old Greek cargo ship, and the artifact features interlocking gears and unidentifiable characters etched into the exposed places. It was first assumed to be a navigational astrolabe and has been dubbed the world's first computer. However, its actual purpose is still unknown. 17. RONGORONGO writing, Easter Island. During the 19th century, tablets with glyphs on them were found on Easter Island. Only a few of the glyphs have been identified, those depicting calendrical and genealogical information, but other than that, the rest is indecipherable. It could be a form of writing, which historians believe is one of the few independent inventions of writing. 24 pieces were discovered, with the inscriptions being made into Toromiro wood. Wood was very valuable, and only scribes could write on it, whereas students would use banana leaves. 16. CLAVA CAIRNS, Scotland. A little spoken about place in Scotland is CLAVA CAIRNS, and it's estimated to be about 4,000 years old. Located near Inverness, CLAVA CAIRNS is made up of 3 Bronze Age cairns. The purpose of the site is said to be a cemetery, but what is still unknown to researchers is how the stones were brought to that area in the first place. Before the stones were there, there's evidence that the land was used for farming. 15. Nazca Lines, Peru. Spread across the Peruvian coastal plain are enormous geoglyphs that are not only big, but plentiful too. The glyphs span across several kilometers and depict plant life, animals, imaginary figures, and geometric shapes. The only way you can see them clearly is from the air, which leaves far more questions than answers as to how and why they were created in the first place. 14. Stonehenge, England. One of the most recognized landmarks in the world is this prehistoric monument found in England. The stones as we know them have been there since roughly 3100 BC, although they have been rearranged according to those in the know, with the first stones probably being placed around 2400 BC. There are a few probabilities as to what it could have been, either a burial ground, a religious temple, or an astronomical observatory. Some stones were brought in from 200 miles away. More than 1 million people visit the site each year. 13. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. This incredible spot has been around 6,000 years longer than Stonehenge, and we're still no closer to being 100% certain of its purpose. It's located in southeastern Turkey, and its architecture is far ahead of its time. When it was first discovered in the 60s, it wasn't deemed as very important, brushing it off as a medieval cemetery. Only years later did archaeologists realize the full value of the location. It's thought to be a religious site, but that hasn't been confirmed. 12. Derinkuyu, Turkey. Staying in Turkey, we head underground and visit one of the largest underground cities in the world. It's located in Cappadocia and consists of 8 levels with over 600 entrances. It's 200 feet deep and each level could be closed off separately. Over 20,000 people lived there and it was equipped with everything they needed to survive, even including a wine and oil press, church, stables, schools, and access to fresh water. What remains a mystery is the exact age of this place and who was responsible for building it. 11. Shroud of Turin, Italy. Everyone has their own theory about this piece of twill cloth, which many believe was the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. The shroud has traces of blood and what looks like the imprint of Jesus. The shroud is kept in a church in Turin, Italy, and its existence is said to be recorded since AD 1353. Researchers used radiocarbon dating to determine the genuine age of the cloth and discovered that it was probably created between 1260 and 1390, meaning that it's an excellent forgery done during medieval times. To date, nobody knows exactly how this excellent forgery was made. 10. Mystery Hill, Massachusetts. In the same area as the infamous witch trials, Salem has another little secret you may not know about. Salem has its own version of Stonehenge. America's Stonehenge is a conglomeration of caves and structures, and it's a heated debate as to how old it is. Some have proposed the area to be built by the Irish monks who fled the Vikings, but many disagree. The site is thought to date back to 2000 BC, but more than that remains unclear. The site has been described as archaeological chaos. 9. The Hypogeum of Hal Saflieni, Malta. This UNESCO World Heritage Site is deemed the oldest prehistoric underground temple in the world. The whole site is eerie and stories of the paranormal abound. The site has some unusual acoustic qualities within the underground chambers. The Hypogeum is thought to have been created as a sanctuary for a certain oracle, which is why one chamber has been named the Oracle Chamber. The sound inside the temple is unlike anything people have heard before, with the sound resonating deep inside one's bones. Why it was built this way remains a mystery. 8. The Devil's Bible, Stockholm. It's also called the Codex Gigas, and it's the largest medieval manuscript ever found. It's so big that 2 people need to carry it. It contains the Old and the New Testament, plus words by Josephus and the Chronicle of Bohemia by Cosmas. It's still not clear who created the book, but some say it was a monk that was living in today's Czech Republic and who wrote it while living a life of seclusion. The Swedes looted Prague during the final stages of the 30 Years' War in 1648 and brought the book back to Sweden. It's now sitting in the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm, and it's open for you to view. 7. PANGA ya SAIDI, Kenya. This incredible find has brought researchers straight back to the Middle Stone Age, as so many incredible artifacts have been found in the area. The cave is believed to have been home to hundreds of people, and what makes the site remarkable is that it's enjoyed a climate more suitable for a tropical rainforest than a spot in the midst of Africa prone to droughts. What is still unknown is what drove the people away from living in what appears to be an idyllic location. 6. Gateway of the Sun, Bolivia. Cut from a single stone, this structure has its origins from 14,000 BC. Carvings depict the sun god, and locals believe that creation began at this exact point, but the real purpose of the site is open for debate. 5. The Govan Stones, Scotland. These monuments have somehow survived medieval Britain and are now displayed at the Govan Old Parish Church in Glasgow, Scotland. They are part of 31 sarcophagi built around AD 870. They were built to honor the Strathclyde rulers, and there were originally 46 of them. By the time they were recognized as having some form of archaeological importance, only 31 stones were brought into the church. The remaining stones were demolished along with the nearby Harland and Wolff shipyard, thought to be debris. In 2019, a 14-year-old volunteer discovered 3 of the stones buried in the churchyard. 4. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, Pakistan. This historical site was discovered by Charles Masson in the late 1820s. Another 30 years passed before railway engineers found more bricks and ruins, but they continued to clear the site to make way for railroads. In the 1920s, a dig of the site was commissioned, and the long-forgotten Indus civilization was unearthed. It was originally believed the civilization was 5,500 years old, but it's been confirmed they date back 8,000 years. Evidence has revealed that the Indus people loved games and toys. In fact, a game very similar to our chess of today was found on site, and it's believed they may have been the original inventors of dice. 3. The Library of Ashurbanipal, Iraq. It may be a while before we have all the answers, but during the 1850s, many clay tablets were found with text from the 7th century etched into them. The tablets belonged to the Ashurbanipal, who ruled Assyria from 668 to 630 BC. The works included historical texts, legal documents, medical records, and literary works. It's considered the oldest surviving library in the world. The texts have been studied for many years already, and many of the mysteries are unfolding every day. 2. Step Pyramid, Egypt. We all know about the Great Pyramid of Giza, but have you heard of the Step Pyramid of Edfu? This ancient structure is older than the Pyramid at Giza and is estimated to be 4,600 years old. These chambers differ from the ones at Giza as they don't have internal chambers and were not used for burials. So, what were they used for? That's where the mystery shall remain. Which of these incredible finds do you find the most mysterious? Do you have any possible explanation for these mysterious finds? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. 1. Voynich manuscript. Wilfrid Voynich was a book dealer who operated a rare bookshop, said to be one of the largest in the world. He was a genuine bibliophile who purchased this mysterious manuscript in 1912. The book was written in an unknown language and had a range of images from plants, zodiac signs, and more. It has 250 pages and is made from vellum, carbon dated to around 1400 AD. Some believe that the script is an elaborate hoax, created with the intent of confusing people for eons to come.